There is a massive Gamer Sub sale going on right now. If you use code Bricky, you get free shipping, and that, yes, includes international shipping all the way until the next week. Go check out the link in the description. You'll go ahead and get it. Check out the sweet 6-pack flavor or any of the other fantastic products on Gamer Subs. So long as your order is over $36.69, that's right, completely free shipping. Yes, even international. Check out the link in the description now. Good morning, everybody. Today is the day after the brand new Warhammer Dataslate just dropped. I had the privilege of talking about it with Brad from the Poor Hammer podcast, replacing Eric as he was out of town. That video is most likely going to be far more in-depth and have a lot more back and forth discussion, and you can find it down in the description when it comes out. It will most likely not be out by the time this video comes out, but I will update the description for when it is, just because it might provide you a lot better stuff. This is just me, after talking about it, going through the whole thing a little bit and sharing my personal thoughts. It will be a lot shorter because there is nothing to talk about. This is a complete nothing burger, and it is genuinely, and I think I actually might use this phrase in a literal sense, lazy, which is crazy because I don't like to use the word lazy too often, but it certainly feels that way. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So here we are. Sorry, I got the good rules in the way. My apologies. Excellent. The Dataslate. Sorry, no, not the Dataslate. The Minotaur Field Manual. Now you're probably wondering, Bricky, is there a Dataslate that comes with this? No. There are no rule changes whatsoever. They've apparently decided to do that twice a year. Did they already say they were going to do that? I don't really know. I genuinely do not really know. I don't remember. Do I wish they didn't? Yeah. Getting rules changes twice a year is kind of insane to me in any other form. I don't understand why they do that or why they're doing that. I don't know their reasoning. I don't get it. This is a $500 million company. Why they're doing that, I don't understand. So all we got are points changes. So we're going to talk about the points changes because that's the only thing there is to talk about, because I guess we get to wait until July for any kind of actual rules changes. Thumbs up, love to hear it. So let's go through it, shall we? Let's talk. Sisters, sororitas, yeah, my girls, my personal favorite army to play. Love them. Currently, Sisters are actually a very good army. They are around like a 55% win rate or something. They're up there. They're one of the top armies currently in the game. The thing about it, though, and the reason why you might not believe it is, one, Sisters are not a particularly uber popular army, and two, the winning Sister lists are not very, cheesy. There's a lot of variety in Sisters lists. There's a lot of things you can take. There are some things you'll always see, like Morven Vol in the Paragon suits and some Battle Sisters and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, there's a lot of variance. This is hitting some of the more egregious parts and then giving a few other things a little bit more love. So Arco-flagellants are still very commonly used and got a bit of a points increase. Crusaders and Death Cult Assassins were very, very cheap. And the whole point of them was that you ran small squads in order to just do objectives, basically. And so they both went up in their small squad versions. So they're more expensive for the small ones, but the big ones are unchanged, just to, let you do a little bit less of that. And then the Triumph of St. Catherine, which everyone thought would be dead in the water with the change. Not going to say I told you so, but a little bit of that, I knew it wasn't, got a nerf as well, because it is still very, very good. Also, the Blade of St. Eleanor that you ran on the Palatine almost every single time got a slight points increase too. Honestly, nothing too crazy here. I still think Sisters will be perfectly fine. I think you just need to be a little bit smarter with some of your objective stuff. You might swap out a squad of Arcos for a Repentia. You probably still take the Triumph, but maybe you don't. Simple. Sacrosancts went down 1 point a model. I'm happy about that. I think they were a little bit underutilized, even though I ran them in all of my lists with Junith anyway. Mortifiers and Penitents went down 5. That's cool. They weren't used too often. I thought they were really fun models, and I did run them, but they were, maybe a little overcosted. And then Ephrael Stern and Higanel went down a few points. Nothing too particularly crazy. So it's Sisters will still, this might This might not even change their win rate. They might just totally stay where they are. And for the most part, I don't mind because I'm a Sisters player. So also, while we talk about this, I'll probably reference these articles from Goonhammer, one of the personally best sites for new like game-based news for Warhammer. And they have all of the point changes written out because it would appear that Games Workshop is unable to, it's just not in their bones to put the number next to the big arrow. So if I wanted to know, interesting, so, Arcoflagellants went up in points. How many points did they go up? No idea. I don't get to know that options. So in the meantime, we have the wonderful people at Goonhammer being able to be, you know, sisters. Arcoflagellants went up 1 point per model. Thank you. Now I know. Custodes, brother and sister, I got no idea. I got nothing. I have no clue. All right. Here come your brand new things and your brand new codex. Everything looks like it went down in points. I guess that probably is true. I don't know at all because I don't know. I mean, I guess they went down. Did they go down a lot? I don't believe so. It's a new codex, a brand new codex. This is a brand new codex. So God knows it's a new codex. This is just what the new codex is now. How you do, we are going to find out. But I'm going to assume you're going to do poorly because you it's not a good codex. So good luck, custodians. I have no idea what's going to happen with you. AdMech. Now, AdMech, I mean, you're probably thinking to yourself, Bricky. AdMech is the most expensive army in the game. Why would we ever lower the points? We need a rule change for AdMech. I agree, and so did they. It's coming in July. So for now, eat shit. You get nothing. You lose, sir. You lose. You get nothing because there's no Dataslate this time around. Why? I don't know. I do not know why there's no Dataslate, but you are continually going to be held up by nothing but running a horde of Jakari and various other things. For the entire time frame, you get nothing. And here, your army has now become even more expensive to build because you don't get new rules because there's no Dataslate until July. Because reasons. Cataphrons are down. Castellan robots are down. Call went down 30, which is insane, but like, no one, you're not going to run him. Honest to God, the only thing here in this entire group that might be fascinating is Rangers going down to 80. And maybe Ruststalkers also going down. That's about all I got for you. Robots are going to be kind of fun for those people who like to run robots, but honest to God, this means literally nothing. Your army is now simply more expensive to run and you still die. So, sorry, AdMech players, but you get to wait 3 more months. Titanic, yes, we can skip. Eldar. All right, so Eldar have, I want to say chilled a little bit, but I mean, Eldar and chilling is not a really common statement. But they're adjusting some of the more egregious things. Swooping Hawks went up. Fugan went up because Fugan is kind of a baller. Support weapons were very good too, kind of stopped them from being too powerful. But they actually made a whole bunch of fun melee and more infantry-heavy stuff a bit better. Guardian Defenders and Storm Guardians went down a bit. Striking Scorpions and Banshees went down. A bit more melee. Shining Spears went down. A bit more melee. Fun stuff there. And then some Forge World things like Shadow Spectre went up a bit, and the Phoenix Gem went up as well. But, you know, certified elf hater Bricky here. I know. Always been an Eldar hater. But if I were to, you're like, Bricky, you're going to run Eldar. We are buying you an Eldar army for free. What would you put in your 2,000 points? 100% it would be going hard on Aspect Warriors and Phoenix Lords. Because Phoenix Lords and Aspect Warriors are the coolest part of Eldar for me. So running Karandros and Striking Scorpions with Janezar and Howling Banshees, no, it's not Eldrad, it's the other guy. What's his name? Azerman and the Dire Avengers? I'm trying to remember. Doing that stuff, that's what I would do. That's what I would 100% do. And so Shining Spears also, just like lots of infantry heavy Eldar, maybe a couple, maybe like a tank or two there, but that's kind of how I would go about it. So moving towards this is more fun. It also lets my guard artillery do better because then they're out in the open and I get to murder them. That being said, guard artillery, Agents of the Imperium, Calidus, Draxus went up. They were seen in some soup lists. Henchmen, They went up in the small version. Same thing, why the sisters had the same deal. Too cheap for small action monkey units. So nothing too crazy there. Just makes that a little bit less cheesy. Astra Militarum. Okay, the Guard. So the Guard So Guard I think is one of those armies where the community was just flat out wrong. I blame myself for this a little bit. I thought Guard was better than they were thought to be, but still not very good. In the last Dataslate, I was like, Guard still needed more than this. And then Guard started taking tournaments and doing very well. And then I was like, okay, well, crap. I guess I was wrong. Maybe Guard did not actually need too much. But all things considered, Guard ended up taking a lot of tournaments and doing quite well. What were the things they were taking? Well, they were taking artillery still. They were taking lots of Bulgrin, and they were taking a crapload of Kasserkin. So the Bulgrin, the artillery, including the Medusa carriage battery in the Forge World, and the Kasserkin all went up. I must admit, I'm going to roll through here real quick for Goonhammer. Thank you again, Goonhammer. The Bulgrin went up 10 for 3, so 20 for 6. And then the Kasserkin went up 20, which is, I'm not going to lie, maybe a bit too high. Going up 20 is kind of insane. I mean, these are T3 1 wound models. So with 4-up save, like, I don't know. I'm a little unsure about that for the Kasserkin. 20 is a pretty insane hike. I think I maybe would be happier with 10, maybe 15, but I don't know. It's a little weird. But the rest seem pretty okay. I mean, the biggest problem with Guard is honestly their detachment. Their detachment's an artillery detachment. So, of course, the artillery is going to go up in price because it's an artillery detachment. And it's awful to play with anything else, but here we are. So you basically don't have a detachment for a lot of other units. But I will give them credit where credit's due. They dropped a bunch of points on things I didn't see much play. I thought Ruff Riders were like decent, maybe not incredible. But them going down 2 points per model is kind of fun. Ruff Riders are basically a glass cannon, but they're a really nasty trade piece. So you run them out there and they can do a hell of a lot more damage than what they can take. Where are, it's Adelan Ruff Riders, right? There's an A. So Ruff Riders, you know, it's movement 12, T4, 2 wounds, 4-up save, very squishy, all things considered. But you know, that Melta Lance, you know, one shot, sure, it's on a 3, but it's at 9/4 D6. But Lance makes it like actually kind of scary. And then, you know, you can throw an order on them if you want to from Leontis. But I think it's like only Leontis. Oh, wait, no. Oh, they can be led by Leontis. Right, it's a regiment unit. They can be ordered normally. That's right. But, you know, they kind of move themselves up and then they can kind of run up and just bam something with a Melta tip. They can trade up pretty well. Also because the Melta tip has, you know, a frag tip too. You can do it for anti-horde clearing. Like right now, orcs are looking really, really scary. I feel like Ruff Riders could actually just eat an entire orc blob alive, maybe. Use the frag tip with lance and then the extra hooves mixed with some las guns. Like that actually might do a really good job at taking out an orc blob. But you know, like 120 for 10, it's not bad. It's genuinely not bad. The Hellhound went down. So you might not know this. The Hellhound is actually pretty good. When you fire it at something, it ignores cover. But you might not realize the Hellhound is a 2-up save. I didn't really realize that for a while. I see Hellhounds occasionally. They pop something on an important target, and then they have like a Rogel door and just blow it to bits. But its guns are, you know, it's not too bad. It gets a hunter killer, maybe like another heavy flamer, and then you can give it the chem cannon, I think is not often the one, which is D6 +1, 2/2/2, but it's anti-infantry 2-up. And then, you know, you run that with the flamer. It's kind of a scary Overwatch piece as well. It's not bad. But ignoring cover is nice. But the thing has a 2-up save, which is just kind of crazy. I don't know. It's kind of funny. And then after that, the Hydra. The Hydra and the Lemans. There's also the Scions. I feel like you might want to run maybe 1 or 2 squads of Scions. 50 points for 5 as a deep strike unit. You can kind of just bounce around and be annoying. You might not run the command squad, but just, you know, they don't like not hit. They kind of hit. But there's some fun just objective grabbing you can do with them. The Hydra and the Lemans are funny. So at the end of the day, you know, Guard's a horde army, but they're like not like a Tyranid horde army. Their vehicles are also cheap. That's kind of the combination, right? They're a shooty horde army. The Hydra and the Leman is hilarious because let's say you take the cheapest Leman Russ out there, 145. The Leman Russ Vanquisher. So Leman Russ Vanquisher, for 145 points, you get a T11 body with a 2-up save and 13 wounds. You could probably give it cover if you just kind of like stick its butt behind something. And for that, you know, screw the cannon. You know, the Vanquisher battle cannon, it's like a railgun, but it hits on a 4, heavy, whatever. It's not great. But you also still get at least a las cannon, a hunter killer missile, a heavy stubber, and 2 multi-meltas on the sides, plus turret on a T11 2-up 13 wound body for now 145. I mean, that's cheap. You know, that's cheap. You could also just run like the regular Leman Russ battle tank for 170, or maybe the Punisher with the Gatling cannon on the front. Like, that's, for that much chunk, for that much like thickness, there's something to be said about that. Same thing with the Hydra. You take the Hydra's not particularly good. Like, its gun is fine. If you fire at units that can fly, not aircraft, just fly, you can reroll the hit roll. And it also has, you know, anti-fly 2-up, which is nice, and twin-linked. It's 913. It's only 4 shots, but it's something. But it also has a hunter killer missile and a heavy bolter or heavy flamer. It's T9 3-up save and 11 wounds for just 95 points. You know, that's not too expensive. Honest to God, I was kind of thinking about this as a mechanized guard list that I think people might be sleeping on. The Chimera. The Chimera is a really cheap body for the most part. It's the exact same thing as the Hydra. T9, 3-up save, 11 wounds. But it has a not unsubstantial amount of gun. You know? It has a multi-laser, which can become a heavy bolter. So let's just say a heavy bolter. 1 heavy bolter, a second heavy bolter, a las gun array, which is basically 6 or 12 las gun shots. Then you can also give it a heavy stubber, and you can then give it a hunter killer missile, and people inside of it can fire with firing deck 2. You put like a 60-point squad of Catachin, maybe, or perhaps a regular Cadian shock troops in there with the special weapons. You've got 130 points with some decent troops in there, putting out like not nothing in terms of gunfire. It's not nothing. And that's a lot of hit points for 70 points. And now the Hydra has actual, like, a gun to shoot fly stuff for 85 points. You might be able to just stat check your opponent with pure thickness, you know, like pure mechanical girth. And, you know, who needs Bulgrin anymore when you have mechanical girth? So, I don't know. Something to think about. Anyway, we'll move on from guard. Black Templars. You guys got free multi-meltas, so now you're paying for your multi-meltas. Sorry. Crusader, small Crusader squads went up, and Sword Brethren went up a bit. I think you're fine. Black Templars did basically kill anything they looked at, but you had to move your way up. But with a lot of other armies going down, I think you'll still be fine. I'm not too worried. Blood Angels, I gotta be honest, friends, no idea what's going on with you. Your Priest went up, Lamarty's went up, Death Company all went up for reasons unknown. In the MetaWatch article or video, they said like, oh, free war gear, but I guess old kit, I don't know, dude. I wouldn't collect old Death Company anyway because I think they look like crap. I would just paint up, I don't know, assault intercessors with jump packs and then paint them differently and then just kind of tweak around their stuff. I don't know. It's a whole thing. That being said, Death Company Dreadnought, it's kind of funny because that's the one that like shoots or stabs back for 145. It's pretty cheap. Just run a bunch of those little boys and watch them like fire back. It could be pretty funny. But I don't know, Blood Angel fans. I got no idea what to think about this. I'm sorry. Demons, you got literally nothing. We talk about this more in the Warhammer podcast that I mentioned I will link. Zinch could use help, I guess. I don't know where demons are, really. I know their win rate is fine, but I don't feel like internal balance is good, so I don't really know what to think. I genuinely am unsure what to think about Zinch, so sorry, guys. I wish you could get something. You know, just to spice some stuff up. I wish you could have anything, but I guess you don't get it. Crap. Chaos Knights. Big Knight not good. Make Big Knight good. Oh, not gonna make Big Knight good? Okay. Sucks to suck, I guess. I genuinely, I have no idea what to make of this. Like, your Big Knights are not good. Your Big Knights need to get better. They did not make your Big Knights better. Why did they not do that? Drop the Abominate by like 20 points. The Desecrator can go down by 15. The Despoiler can go down by 20. The Rampager probably is fine. The Tyrant could go down by like 40. Why no Big Knight? Make better Big Knight. Okay, Chaos Space Marines. All right. The Night Lord in my chest is pumping. Okay, so CSM have had a massive win rate drop. They got hit with a bunch of nerfs, a bunch of other armies got really good, and they got hit by a points and rule change nerf at the same time. It's like a triple threat. I personally think that CSM is better than people say it is, but I don't really have enough to back it up. Regardless, here's a whole bunch of green for you. Bikers went down, which is, I guess, cool, but the main things I want to look at are how all the infantry mainly went down, which I like. A lot of people were running a lot of Vindicator. Oh, wait, that's Dark Angels. Where's Vindicator? Oh, it's Chaos Vindicator. That's right. And they went down on the Chaos Vindicator, which is a little bit surprising. Didn't quite expect that, but oh well, here we are. That went down. So you're going to see maybe more of that, but for the most part, it's mainly the infantry that went down. And as, you know, Night Lord guy myself, I love that. Possessed going down is awesome. Raptors going down is fun. I'm particularly happy about the Legionaries going down. I was kind of messing around with build ideas with Legionaries. I kind of felt as if Legionaries were just a little bit undervalued. And the reason for that is because, sure, they're regular old Space Marine bodies, but they get reroll wound rolls of 1 in melee and full reroll wound rolls on an objective marker, which is, you know, like, that means you don't really have to take the Chaos Undivided with them, and you can choose a god without really huge issues. But their melee kind of slaps. Especially, you take a squad of 10, which is now 160 instead of 180. And then by taking a squad of 10, you get a whole bunch of chain swords, which is 4/1/1 with 4 attacks, which is not small. You get a heavy melee weapon, which is 8/2/2 with 3 attacks, also pretty good. And then you can also, for every 5 models in the unit, a bolt gun can be replaced. Like, you can give some plasma pistols in there. The champion can also get a heavy melee weapon, which is fun, like a bolt pistol and heavy melee weapon. So at the end of the day, it's like 3 plasma pistols, a bunch of bolt pistols, a bunch of chain swords, and then 2 heavy melee weapons. What's, you know, I don't know exactly what that turns into, but it's like 6 attacks at 8/2/2, and then 8 times. So about 32 more attacks with 4/1/1, which isn't bad. And then you're re-rolling the wound rolls, but you're going to pact them. And so you can go generally with like either Khorne or Slaanesh. Slaanesh gives you explosions. Khorne gives you lethal. And lethal is pretty nasty, but with the re-roll to wounds, maybe Slaanesh will be pretty good. And that opens up Slaanesh-based stratagems like Advance and Charge, which is very good. And then I was kind of thinking, like, what if we did battle line Legionary character spam? You know, you take Legionaries, you throw on some kind of, you know, like, or Fabius Bile probably works better with Chosen, but, you know, you can have a 10-man squad of Chosen and throw Bile in there and give him the Chaos Undivided stuff, because he's got some pretty good abilities for the most part. I like Bile. But Lucius the Eternal, you slap onto all of those Legionaries, they're Slaanesh, it gives them fights first. Lucius hits like an absolute freight train, especially if you give him rerolls to wound on that. You do a Chaos Lord, for example, and then he can, you know, take a Demon Hammer and start popping off, and then maybe you give him the Khorne relic that makes him pop off even more. I don't know. There's just like, I feel like there's something there. It might not be there yet, but I feel like there's something with just spamming that kind of annoyance. And so I was kind of looking into that a little bit, and I think there might be something to utilize. I think Raptors and Harkin are kind of decent. The Possessed plus Master of Possession is pretty good. Cypher went down. I guess if you want him for the Vect, whatever. Cultist Mob is kind of fun, actually. The Demon Prince went down. Iron Warrior players, you might be able to run a fun castle with a Hellbrute and 2 squads of Havocs with las cannons to obliterate everything. That's fun. I don't know if this will necessarily make anything like better overall, but it's a very fun change, and I'm glad that it's cheaper and it goes harder into Death to the False Emperor foot CSM, which is the most fun type of CSM for me. Dark Angels, you guys are kind of bad right now. All of your cool Dark Angel stuff went down, like Terminators and Thick Boys, and Lion went down 50 points. I don't think you're going to use Lion still, but if you painted him up and he's beautiful and you want to take him to a friendly game, he's probably more useful now. Congratulations. Nothing really going on there. Sorry that I just skipped past it, but there's not much to talk about. Speaking of not much to talk about, Deathguard, your Hellbrute went down. Congratulations. I mean, Deathguard, you seem okay. I feel like Mortaria maybe could have gone down a little bit, or maybe like 10 points on the Mephitic Blight Haulers or something, but literally, like Deathguard, bleh. It's just, I don't know what to say. Deathwatch. Hey, Deathwatch, guys, you're not doing great. Your win rate is in the absolute fucking dumpster. Your rules are bad, and your points are bad. You need a rules update, which probably could have came with a data slate that didn't happen. And your Deathwatch points are also bad. There's actually no reason for this. Like, normally I want, like, there's some kind of conspiracy theory in my head that says that Deathwatch is going to go into like Agents of the Imperium Codex, which is one that's been kind of tossed around a little bit or something, along with Grey Knights. Like, ooh, what if they're doing this thing and there's a special codex for, I have no clue. There is no excuse. Your army sucks. Your rules are bad. Your points are bad. Every single other Terminator, except for like Deathguard, went down in points across the board in this update. Yours didn't. There is no excuse. I don't know what GW has out. Like, they literally forgot. I do not care about my 37 friend requests, Epic Games. They genuinely forgot. Like, there is no excuse for this level of ineptitude. You needed something. They do not care. It's wild to me that there is nothing. And you might say, oh, well, there's going to be some point. Maybe there'll be some rules updates in July or summer. We don't know that. 1. 2, there should have been Dataslate today anyway. 3, make you better until then. Let you play your goddamn army until then. But no. So here we are. It's really shitty. I do not understand why. Jakari. Now, you guys didn't get a change, and that's okay. You got a brand new index attachment. People are still feeling it out. It's doing pretty well. It's within acceptable parameters. Could some things have gone down and some things have gone up? Perchance. But they didn't, and that's mostly okay. I think for the most part, we're still feeling out how Jakari is doing. And for the most part, the top armies went down a little bit. So I think you might actually be doing better by non-association. So Jakari, I think you're chilling. GSC, they fixed your aberrant shenanigans and your vehicles went down. You might need some changes to your rules a little bit or another detachment, but we're not quite there yet. So, but for the most part, GSC, you're fine. I mean, maybe not fine. You're impossible to determine. I have no idea what to think about GSC because GSC is such a bizarre army played by bizarre individuals. So where you are now, I'm not 100% sure, but gosh darn it, do I hope that you guys do okay because it's a wild army. Grey Knights. So you were spamming Dread Knights like crazy and it was good. So they stopped you from spamming your Dread Knights like crazy. Tech Marine and Dread Knight and Librarian all went up. All of your regular power armor boys went down a little bit, but you didn't go down by much. Will this put Grey Knights in the grave? Probably not. Does this feel good? Also probably not. It's a weird combination here, but for the most part, I guess it's nice if you like the smaller guys, but your points are still very expensive, and I don't know if this will really change much. Maybe you'll see more of Crow with Purifiers, because that's actually a really fun combo. Knights. Big Knight bad. Make Big Knight cheap. Big Knight bad. Make Big Knight cheap. Give Big Knight Bondsman ability back, please. Would have been pretty good if there was a data slate for it. Wild. Voton, you're actually pretty good. Uthar is like one of the worst named characters in the entire game, so he went down. Hearthkin went down 1 point a model. I'm pretty happy about that. I like running Hearthkin spam, and I think Hearthkin warriors are actually pretty good. So yay, thumbs up on that one. League, you're doing fine. This is just like a bit more codex, what's the word we're looking for? Internal balance. Necrons. All right, so Crons. Crons. Crons are too good. Crons are too good from a very specific build. Two of their detachments are total dog water. One of their detachments is okay, and 2 of them are very good. I'd say like 3 are good. 2 are good, 2 are crap, and 1 is very good. This is nerfing the very good and buffing some of the rest. The Catan got huge point updates and increases, which is very solid. You still probably can run 1 of them, no issues, but if you're going to run 2 of them, you're going to have some problems. You might see the Deceiver for the first time in ever. The Monolith went up, Hypercrypt shenanigans there, and then a lot of the other kind of Hypercrypt / Canoptic stuff got adjusted. The Technomancer got a massive point hike because of his work with the Wraiths. Plasmancer went up, I imagine, because of his work with the Immortals. Chronomancer went up as well for probably similar reasons. Illuminor Xerath was very, very good, and so also went up, and the Immortals went up with them. In exchange, things that went down were all things that you were not seeing. Catacomb Command Barge went down. I don't think it's that good. Death Marks went down. I like Death Marks, but Flay ones went down. Fine. Ophidians and Scorpex went down. Basically all of the Destroyer cult stuff, I suppose. Minus the shooting ones, the melee ones. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. I think that the Technomancer maybe caught a bit too rough of a nerf. I understand the whole Wraiths plus Techno, and Wraiths by themselves were not very good, but Wraiths with Techno was insane. But I kind of am sad that now running Techno with Immortals or Warriors just doesn't even matter. I kind of wish, well, I almost feel as if we should have varying points cost depending on what you're leading. That might get a little bit too complex for the most part, but the idea of like Technomancer leading, Technomancer, 50 points. Leading Wraiths, 70. Leading Warriors, 60. Leading Immortals, 55. It might be a little bit too complex, but it's something to, think about for maybe a future kind of edition. I think it would help out a lot with fixing a lot of those internal struggles. Same thing with the Plasmancer. What can the Plasmancer even lead? He can lead like Immortals and Warriors. Can he even lead anything past that? Is it just those 2? Plasmancer. Yeah, Immortals and Warriors. Right. And so you weren't seeing him with Warriors ever because Warriors are overpriced by maybe 1 point per model or so. So, you kind of punish the Plasmancer for the sins of the Immortals. I don't know. It's a little bit weird. Side note, Scorpec Destroyers and Scorpec Lord are now kind of fun and cheap. You can run 3 squads of them with a Lord and 6 models for $780. What is that? 260 times 3, 6,300, 6,600 divided by 12. Yeah, 780. Just barely over a third of your army can be that many models. Kind of hilarious. I kind of want to run it. I kind of want to fuck around with that. It seems funny. They're not amazing, but they're not bad. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Overall, Necrons caught a well-deserved nerf, and I think they'll be fine. I think this won't make them I imagine they'll stay above a 50% win rate, but just be a lot closer. All right, Orcs, we're all dead. We're all doomed. The boys have arrived, and they're going to kill us all, and we're all going to cry about it. The boys codex looks insane. It looks incredibly good, and this is probably the best codex of the entire edition. I think even better than Necrons because every detachment seems like it's decent. I don't think there's a single detachment that does not make Orcs look terrifying. Mega Knobs at 30 points a model is insane to me. Actually insane. But here we are. The boys look like they're going to really hurt. I don't know. It's just, we are about to experience something very fascinating. this is about to hurt, I think, really bad. I think there are probably like 7 orc builds that are good right now. Which one comes out on top, I don't know, but they're very, very good. So good luck, everybody. The green tide is here, and it's bite the pillow. Bite the fungus pillow. Space Marines. Okay, so Space Marines are weird. Their percentage win rate is always wacky because it's always way lower than they actually are because Space Marines is the most popular army, and also a lot of just fun dad gamers do it, so it pulls it out more than it should. So I will say Space Marines do need buffs, and they did give them some buffs. Iron Storm got nerfed a little bit. I don't really care about that. It's fine. Your Terminators got a little bit better. Your Incursors and Hellblasters got a little bit better, and so did your Assault Intercessors and like the Brutalis, for example. Will this change anything? I genuinely don't know. Iron Storm, I guess, is just a little bit weaker. The fact that Tactical Squad is 10 models at 14 points a model is hilarious. Don't buy it. Tactical Squads are awful, but it's just kind of funny to me. I mean, to me, this is like kind of a nothing burger. This just means nothing to me. I don't care about any of this. It's just like a couple things that weren't performing well got a little bit better. Nice. That's cool. I have nothing really else to say. Because it's Space Marines, you know? They have so many detachments. They have so many different buffing characters. Were people really scrambling to run Incursors? I mean, I know Hellblasters might actually end up being really good now, but like, no one was really spamming Brutalises. Assault Interceptors with the jetpacks, I mean, that's cool, I guess. Terminators are a little bit better. That's cool, I guess. It's nothing. I don't know. It's nothing. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. I don't care in a weird way. Space Wolves, almost kind of the same deal. I'm kind of shocked your Thunder Cavalry didn't get nerfed, but Wolfguard Terminators, you know, they got a little better. Terminators all went down. That's cool. It's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. Tau Empire, your codex is coming out in like 10 days. I don't know why they didn't release it earlier to go along with this, and just tell us the damn points, but I guess screw us. Sorry, Tau. K-Suns, I had a good talk with Brad about this in the Warhammer podcast. This probably changes very little for you. K-Suns, you are a good army right now that requires a good player, but you are a good army. You maybe will have a slight win rate increase because the better armies went down, but for the most part, this is all stuff you weren't running anyway, minus maybe occasionally a Demon Prince or a Terminator Blob. Maybe you'll run it now. I don't really know, perfectly honest. I don't know. Everything else that went down in points, like the Malafrine Hellbrute Vindicator and Cultist, they don't give you Cabal points, so you weren't running them anyway. So it is what it is. Tyranids. Okay, so I actually kind of like the Tyranid thing a little bit here. Tyranids have a lot of problems right now. They're not great, but I don't hate like any of their detachments except for maybe Harvester. It's kind of mid. But everything about their detachments is kind of neato. This will help them. I don't think it'll save them, but it will help. It's got some very fun changes here. I like Barb Gaunts. I'm glad they went back down. I think that the Swarmlord and Tyrant Guard were also something that needed to go down, and they did. Did they go down enough? I don't think so. I think they're still too expensive, but they're better. The Zoanthropes going down is nice, makes them a bit better at their shooting. Hive Guard going down, no one even ran them, so it doesn't really matter, but they're a little bit better now. And then, like, Warriors went down, which is cool. The Psychophage went down, which is hilarious to me, because it's much like on Guard, it is actually quite chunky. It doesn't really do anything, but it has chunk. And so you might want to run this just to have an annoying, really cheap unit to shove into people. I might end up doing that. But for the most part, I don't know. Like, Tyranids got their prior build, which was Neurolictors and stuff, nerfed. Now they got buffs in a lot of different areas, but Tyranids just can't really kill big things very well. And that's their biggest issue, is they can't kill large stuff. And nothing here really lets them kill large stuff. You know? Zoanthropes maybe. But 200 points for 6 is still a lot of points. I think if anything, the only thing that I'm really looking at that might actually be kind of neat is melee / ranged warriors with a winged Tyranid Prime. The only reason for that is that the winged Tyranid Prime is not too expensive, but he mainly gives out sustain hits 1. But he also has the Vanguard Invader keyword, which allows them to advance and charge and get a bunch of keyword stratagems in one of the detachments. And getting sustain hits 1 is pretty fun, but, you know, melee Tyranid warriors, they're not bad. You know, 6 attacks at 5/2/1, twin linked, give them sustain hits 1 with the leader. You can reroll a hit roll of 1 at the start of the fight phase, or reroll a saving throw, which is also fun. You know, 150, was it 150? Yeah, 150 plus 65, so 215 for, albeit, you know, a somewhat decent stabby unit that you can advance and charge. It might work with something. It might help. I actually think Tyranid shooting might be pretty good. This is now at 130 for 6 models, that is. And with the Winged Tyranid Prime, you're going to be going at about 195. And 195 with sustain hits 1, especially with the weapons you can do, because that's 2 Venom Cannons, 2 Barbed Stranglers, and then probably 2 Death Spitters, maybe 2 Devourers, but I'm probably assuming Death Spitters. That, you know, 2d3 shots at 922 with Blast, with Sustained, and then, you know, 2d6 plus 1, Blast, 611 with Sustained. Like, for under 200 points, like, there's a little bit of DACA you can get out of that. You can get a little bit of DACA with that. So, I don't know. It might be kind of fun to run some Psychophages as just like a big distraction, chunky Carnifex, and maybe a few of those Warriors type deals. But Tyranids, I'm not quite sure if you're actually going to get anything out of this. All right, last but not least, World Eaters. If you are relying on 8-bound, I'm so sorry. If you are relying on Foot Boys, life is good. If you're Mr. I put everything on the field on the line and I run forward, and those things on the line are Khorne Berserkers, Jackals, and the associated characters, you are liking life. World Eaters are kind of a weird army. They're very good in the right hands and very bad in the wrong hands. But they're very big like the movement phase and stuff. But honestly, 180 for 10 models of Khorne Berserkers it's pretty fun, you know? With the right combination, you can snag a lot of Zerkers and a lot of Jackals, and you can just send it. So I don't think this will change anything. And you know what? That's kind of the main thing to say about with today's whole video. I don't think this is going to change anything. I believe that for the most part, this is all nothing. This is crap. The Orcs are going to murder us because of the Codex. The Necrons are going to be a little bit worse. Good. CSM will be a little bit better. Good. Everything else is a nothing burger. Where Imperial Knight change? No Dataslate. Sucks. Where Admech change? No Dataslate. Sucks. Chaos Knight? Big Knight go down? No. Why? I don't know. Deathwatch? Actually though, where Deathwatch? Like... Here's the difficulty I always find myself running into, right? I don't want to tell someone how to do their damn job. You know? I don't want to tell them like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? But at some point, there is a level of lazy. You know, the lazy game dev is something that it's like an armchair developer thing, and I hear it so goddamn often, and it's infuriating. But I have to ask here. I could have done a better job. Like, genuinely. I'm not kidding. I feel like I could have done a better job. And I'm not a game designer. I can look at Deathwatch and be like, hey, where's the hell is Deathwatch? Deathwatch is not good. They're very, very bad right now. I will drop your points per model by 1 or 2 ppm. Like, will it make you good? No. Will it make you better? Sure. And that might just make playing Deathwatch more fun, because it's not just about the tournament rankings. It's about the enjoyment of the armies. And for a good part of this stuff, the internal balance is cool. Genestealer Cult, your vehicles got a bit better. Will this make you top tier? Probably not, but it'll make your normal games better and make you feel less bad about running your army. Eldar. If you're a big Eldar player who likes to run melee infantry, this feels great for you. Will it make you top tier? Probably not, but it feels good and it spices up the game. It changes up the list and it makes things more interesting. Same deal with Guard, same deal with CSM. And those changes are nice, but why is there just a nothing burger across the board? Are Outriders being taken? Are Librarians being taken much? Any of the flavor? The Phobos, well, actually the Phobos one's kind of good. But like some of the lieutenants, are they being taken? Is the Invader ATV being taken? Is the Invictor Tactical Warsuit being taken? Are they? Maybe. I don't know. There's nothing here. Zero. You're trying to tell me that you shouldn't have dropped the points on the fucking Spore Assist? Or perhaps the Toxicrene that is never seen since ever? The Carnifexes are awful. They hit on 4s. They're terrible. I don't get it. I could have done better. And it's wild for me to say that because I hate that kind of phrase. It's such a crap phrase. I hate that kind of feeling because people do it all the time with game development. They're always like, oh, the lazy devs, that kind of thing. But you had 3 months to make changes to armies that clearly needed changes. Also, why no data slate? It's even worse that way because when you have no data slate, you have fewer excuses for this to be so anemic. I feel like there's only one way this could possibly be explained, and that's that the Games Workshop is doing this whole part off a skeleton crew that's massively underpaid. If you told me game balance was handled by 2 people, I would believe you. I actually believe that it is under 5 folks. Unironically. In fact, if you were hired on Games Workshop for like $50,000 a year, like not great money or something, like not for the position you're in, right? And you were going ahead and being like, ooh, like your whole job was to balance the game. And that was just you. You would do better than this. This feels like someone on some other team is being tasked with the process of balancing. And game balancing is goddamn hard, dude. I am aware of that. It's very, very hard of a situation. But if you just had one person dedicated to it, dedicated to compiling the data, seeing the results, talking to the people, you could have done better than this. And there's no excuse. It is it is $500 million company. There is no excuse. This entire thing, it's almost worse than being bad. It's just boring. It's dull. It's bland. Nothing occurred. The game is the same, and it has been, and it will be for 3 more months. It is unfortunate. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching me rant. Apologies. I'm probably going to regret the whole I could have done this better thing, because that is a really self-absorbed, assholey thing to say. But I mean, come on, man. Holy. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll see you later.